Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's Mary, and I'm here with 90 Days in 900 Seconds, Happily Ever After, Tell-All, Part 4. After being tortured through the whole month of January, the light at the end of the tunnel is here. I personally did not think I would make it at times, but we are here, guys. We have made it. We were tortured for the whole month of January with this extended tell-all edition, 4 parts. I mean, the actual tell-all itself was maybe 2 parts. I mean, the actual time that was spent on stage and what was covered, the content sucked. So if I was going to give this tell-all as a whole a grade, and I know a lot of you guys think that I'm too generous with my grades, I would give this a D. It really sucked. Content wise, for the tell all itself, it sucked. All the extra things, while entertaining at times, I didn't like it. Please, if Sharp Entertainment is listening, TLC happens to be listening, don't do this again. No, it's a no from me. So I'm going to set 900 seconds on the timer and hop right in and just, recap, because the only couple that they really covered was Jovi and Yara, because that was the only one that was left. So here we go. So we pick up from where we left off from part 3. Michael was searching for Usman. And Michael, he wanted to go talk to Usman because all this friction going on between Angela and Usman, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Okay. So the resulting conversation, and I'm going to show my age, reminded me of the old Abbott and Costello skit, Who's on First, What's on Second, Whatchamacallit's on Third. I actually saw a tweet that said this, and when I saw the tweet and I was watching the episode the second time, totally, yes, because Michael was talking in circles. He made no fucking sense. Okay, so basically what he was saying is he can't be trusted on social media because women flock to him and he has no self-control. So Usman's like, so basically what you're telling me is you're a baby and you can't be trusted, and Angela's going to blame me for everything. And no, that's not acceptable. So Michael is basically begging Usman to let Angela treat him whatever way she wants, talk to him whatever way she wants, call him a scammer, blame him for Michael not getting his visa, all the outrageous accusations. But please, please, Usman, please do not argue with her back. Do not fight with her. Just take all of her crap. That was basically what Michael was telling him. And this actually was the highlight of all 4 parts. Usman looking at Michael and going, wait a minute. So you want me to let Angela talk to me, call me a scammer, yell at me, abuse me basically the way that she abuses you, and take it? And Michael's like, yes. And Usman looks at him and goes, that's a capital no. I loved it. Dead. Dead. So now we move on to the actual stage, and we're talking about Jovi and Yara. So guess what? Yara got her boobies done, and they were done by Angela's surgeon, Dr. Obang. Now, honestly, looking at Angela's boobies would not, inspire me to go to the same doctor, but, that's me personally. So, anyway, so it is revealed, dun, 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 that while Yara was recovering, Jovi went on an African safari. But the African safari was planned 6 months ago. Okay. So who was kind of in the wrong here? Yara planning a cosmetic surgery during the time that she knew that Jovi was going on an African safari, or Jovi not canceling his African safari and staying at home with Yara while she recovers from surgery, and she can't pick up, heavy, she can't do any heavy lifting, meaning she can't lift their daughter into a car seat and things like that. But it turns out that they worked things out. They agreed Yara let him go, even though she didn't want to let him go, but Yara let him go. And Yara was putting Mila in the car seat using her feet. So everything worked out anyway. So if it all worked out at the end, why are we talking about it? So anyway, then Andre, by the way, had to put his 2 cents in and was blaming Yara and says that Yara encourages this behavior. Then we started having the second child conversation. Okay. So Mama Gwen is like, you guys can't even handle one. What makes you think you're going to be able to handle two? And I know what your solution is going to be. Call mom. And mom is not a nanny. And she is absolutely right. And, Mrs. Gwen is there and she's very emotional. She's emotional. She's upset. She's like, I'm emotional over this argument that we had, but before we get into the argument, Andre said something really messed up. Andre said to Jovi, we all know the reason why you want Yara to have a second child is because you just want to tie her down because basically you're an ugly fuck. And we all know that Yara's the better looking out of the two of you. So you just want to tie her down by getting her pregnant all the time. And Gwen is like, hey, wait a second. That's my son you're insulting. And Yara's like, hey, that's not nice. Like, yo, Andre, you're savage. Jeez. So Gwen is feeling emotional over the argument that they had in the beginning of the season where Jovi was like, you weren't there for Yara when I went away to work for 6 weeks. And Gwen is like, I'm no one's nanny. You guys moved 2 hours away. I was there the best that I thought I could be. Now it turns out that she's buying property to move closer to them and they're moving to Florida. And it's like, what the fuck, Jovi? Like, come on. But Jovi insists that he is doing what he wants to make his wife happy. His wife is miserable in Louisiana. So if she wants to move to Florida, he's moving to Florida. And Yara's like, Mrs. Gwen, you're my American mom. I'm going to be living by the beach. You can stay with me anytime you want. So now we're moving on. We're going to bring out Yara's friend Symphony. Remember her friends Symphony and Adele in the beginning of the season? Well, Adele wasn't able to be there because she's facing some charges. If you don't remember what we're talking about, go check out Mary Pants on Instagram because she actually broke the news about the charges in the beginning of the season. And so considering Adele has some legal issues, it's understandable why she wasn't able to be there, but a Symphony was there. So they played that little clip where Adele said that Jovi was out of Yara's league, and Yara giggled and blushed and agreed. Yara said she didn't understand exactly what Adele meant, and she was just giggling and blushing and agreed, just to be polite. And later on, when she understood what Adele meant by that, she, didn't want to say anything because that's Adele's opinion and everybody has a right to their opinion. Okay. So Symphony's point is, she loves them as a couple together. Don't get her wrong. She has nothing against Jovi and Yara as a couple, but she believes that every woman should be independent. Every woman should have their financial independence, a plan B. Didn't call it a plan B, but it's a plan B, in your back pocket, just in case your husband wakes up and decides to leave you for a stripper. And, the way Jovi goes to strip clubs, you never know. So that's Symphony's point. She's not saying that Yara should leave Jovi, but, she should have something in her back pocket as a plan B. An apartment in Prague, who knows? That could be her plan B. So as they were discussing the out of your league comment, Angela had to, get her point across. She's like, excuse me, Symphony, ha. I just wanted to say one thing. That girl who said that, she's blind because Jovi's handsome. And Symphony's like, okay, okay. So now, basically, this is when Ed starts barking up. Okay. Ed starts talking some shit, and Yara's like, you don't know anything. Please look at you. Look at your relationship. You're not one to speak up. And Ed just keeps barking up. And at this point, I can't even tell you what he's saying. He's just like talking shit. Oh, you're busted because you wanted to buy an apartment in Europe and you're in your daughter's name, and you weren't going to put Jovi's name on it until you were busted, and using like all these accusatory words, right? All of a sudden, like a little mouse in the corner, Jenny jumps up, and Jenny's like, you know something? I'm sick of you. Shut up. And Ed's like, you had your turn yesterday. You be quiet. And Jenny's like, it is not my turn when you tell it to be my turn. I will take my turn when I want it to be my turn. I'm sick of you. Shut up. And she flips the fuck out. Yara's like, and she just flips the fuck out. And Ed is still going at her. Ed is still going at her with his disrespectful ass mouth still going at her. And Jenny's like, shut up. I'm sick of you. Shut up. Kiss my ass, dude. So now, Sean, mind you, is sitting there and letting this whole shit show happen. As the moderator, she's not piping up. She's not telling Ed to shut up. She's not telling Jenny to calm down. She's not saying a damn thing. Usman's like, hold on. I have something to say. So now Usman has something to say. And Sean's like, wait a second. Usman has something to say. Usman's like, Yara, this girl is not your friend. And Symphony's like, you don't even know me. Like, please. She's like, Yara, she does not want you to be happy. Do not listen to her. Symphony's like, please give me a break. So then Ed starts calling Jovi a pussy. Ed starts saying that Jovi has lost control of his family and he's a pussy. And they start yelling at each other back and forth again. And you know who had to take control of the situation? Because obviously Sean sucks as the co-host, as the moderator and the host of this whole thing. Mama Gwen, she had to step in. And she's like, Ed, what is wrong with you? How old are you? Like, act your age. And then that's when Ed shut the fuck up. And that's when this tell-all was finally over. The on-stage part. Because, of course, we still had like 40 minutes left of like backstage bullshit. So now, backstage, we have Andre and his F-bombs telling Jovi that he needs to get control of his family. And we have everyone else shocked as fuck that Jenny flipped the fuck out. Okay. And Jenny's like, I couldn't take his shit anymore. Nobody was as shocked as Kim. Kim is like, Miss Namaste Jenny, flip the fuck out, shocked the shit out of me. And now Jovi and Ed are in a cab together. And Jovi is basically telling Ed that if he would have acted like that anywhere else but in the studio, he would have got his ass kicked. Because that is ass kicking worthy behavior. The way that he spoke to Yara and the way that he spoke to Jenny, an older woman. Remember, Jenny has been 63 for the past 6 seasons. She is older than Ed, okay? And the way that he spoke to her, he would get his ass kicked on the street. He better thank his lucky stars that he was in the studio, okay? So they get to the hotel. And, Ed is all apologetic, oh, yes, I know what I did wrong, blah, blah, blah. Gets to the hotel and promptly insults the bartender. So the bartender, he asked the bartender his name. The bartender says his name is Valentino. Ed asked him if he's Italian. And he's like, no, I'm Mexican. And Ed's like, oh, I'm Mexican too. And somehow he winds up calling the guy stupid. This poor bartender, I hope that he got paid a lot, because between dealing with Ed and then dealing with Angela hitting on him. At one point, Angela comes in the room. This is a little later on, but Angela comes in the room and Angela's like, are you single? I want to have sex. And he's like, no. Do you have a brother, a friend? I haven't had sex in 5 years. Let me tell you, Valentino, wherever you are, I hope that you got paid well. I hope you got paid well just for listening to Angela tell you that she hasn't had sex in 5 years. She has had sex with the same man in 5 years, and maybe it's time to try something new. I hope you got paid well just for listening to that. Poor Valentino, the bartender. So, Jovi tries to have the disrespect conversation with Ed again when they're back at the hotel, because Jovi just like can't wrap his mind around what a disrespectful douchebag fucker Ed is. And Ed shuts it down. He's like, we already had this conversation. I'm not talking about it again. And Jovi's like, are you fucking kidding me? But Ed walks away. So now we cut to Liz out there talking to Jenny. And I'm sorry, Liz is playing the victim card. Liz is like, oh my God, I'm just going to have to go and live my life without him, go back to work, bust my ass. I want to be the best example for my daughter that I can be. Well, you know something, Liz, if you want to be the best example, I've seen on Instagram that you've taken up running, ran in a couple of marathons. Well, put on those running shoes and run far away as you can from Ed. Okay. So Jenny's like, I don't know what you see in him. Jenny proceeds to rip him a new asshole again, which I love. And then we have this weird scene. Okay, somehow it winds up being Angela, Kim, Jenny, and Liz. Okay, so Liz is talking about that she's going to have to change the license plate on her car because the license plate says Big Ed's girl. Yeah, Liz's license plate says Big Ed's girl. Okay. So suddenly we're having a conversation about their sex lives. And Angela is talking about how she has juices, but they just need to get flowing. Kim looks like she's going to die. Poor Jenny is sitting there like this. Jenny's like, oh my God, I don't want to hear about your sex life, Angela. But Angela's going on about her sex life. She's like, unlike this one talking about Liz, that she's young and she could get herself going. And Liz is like, I'm an emotional lover. And Angela's like, please don't tell me you cry when you come. I had a friend that she would cry when she came, and one time I was in a hotel room and she was next door, and I thought the guy was doing something to her, and she was like, "No, I just cry when I come." And I'm like, "Oh my God, we are not having this conversation." Kim is sitting there looking horrified. Jenny, like I said, is like this, and then Angela's like, "I want to know about Cement. Cement looks like he's a romantic lover. What's the best thing that you like that he does? Does he kiss you? Does he caress you?" And Jenny's like, "Oh God, I don't want to talk about that." And he's like, "Yeah, my side of my neck hurts, so he like rubs side of my neck and stuff like that." And Angela's like, "I want to know the details." And Jenny's looking at her like, "I ain't telling you the details, bitch." So it's just too much. It is just too much. So then, before this, I forgot this part. Ed comes in and he wants to have a chat with Liz because he wants to know what her travel plans are going to be, because he is going to Boston in the morning because he has a paid speaking engagement. Who the fuck is paying him to speak? I want to know. But that's another story. So Liz is like, I'm busy right now. I'm having a conversation. Like, you're on my time, dude. And Ed has a tissy fit and like stalks off. But he has time to stand in the hallway and give like a mini interview. And Liz is like, hello, I can hear you. You said you were going, you were leaving. So he sends a group text to production and to Liz, just letting everybody know that he's basically abandoning Liz in New York and, for her to get back to San Diego by herself. Just showing his douchebag. Just showing his douchebag. So then, we have the scene of Ed packing and talking about that, he loves Liz, but he can't love her properly. So he's going to give the 16K ring to his daughter. Shida's happy. Oh, I forgot to throw this in. When they were talking about Yara and her boobs, guess what? Shida wants boobs as well. Shida, whose husband offered her a piggy bank, thinks she's going to get boobs out of her husband. Good luck on that, girl. So Shida's happy that her and Bilal are leaving New York. Team united. Good for them. And Yara and Jovi don't leave happy. Yara's bitching at him. Yara's like, I didn't know what that out of my league comment meant. And I did apologize. And Joey's like, no, you didn't. You apologized to everybody else but me. And Yara's like, but I said I was sorry. Like, what else do you want? So Yara's in a bitchy mood. Jovi's in a bitchy mood. And they just leave together in a bitchy mood. And finally, the final scene of this horrible, horrible season of Happily Ever After is Mima making major life decisions. She needs to decide what she's going to do because she needs to be an example for her grandchildren. She can't let her granddaughters think that this is the proper way to treat a woman, cheating on her, lying to her, abusing her, and she can let her grandson think that this is the proper way to treat a woman. So Mima and her fake tears have some thinking to do. Is she gonna divorce Michael and pull them visas, or is she gonna, or is she gonna try her best, or is she gonna go to Canada and visit Billy? You notice how they totally skipped over the Billy situation? Well, finally, the season of Happily Ever After is over, and next week we get new blood, new couples, except for one, Danielle and Johan from 90 Day in Paradise. But basically, new couples, new blood, new train wrecks. So I'm here for it. Are you here for it? Thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Please hit that like button. Check out my publication, 90 Day, Word on the Street Reality.com for all 90 Day Fiancé and Love After Lockup tea. And please share my video with a friend or 10. That would make me so, so happy. Thank you so much. And I'll be here next week with 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Thank you. Bye.